give them the mic. Don't hold it for them. That became very awkward. So, hey, Coach, how you doing? Good.
No, just ready to go. Let's go.
So we're going to let him.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to wait for the players to clear out, and then we'll start. Remember to raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you, and please identify yourself and your affiliation. Okay, we are going to go straight to questions with Coach Barnes, so please raise your hand, and we will get a mic to you. Up front with Bob.
Hey Rick, Bob,
Hey.
Bob Holt, Arkansas Denver Craig is I thought I'd say New York Times or something, throw you for a loop, but
Yeah.
I was doing some research, and there's only maybe 7 guys in the league that have been with a program for 4 or 5 years. You've got 2 of them. Arkansas's got one with Devo Davis. I was wondering, how, in this world where there's so much turnover on the rosters year to year, how good is it to still have some old hands? And for you or everybody, do you think generally? And then I was wondering your thoughts on Devo Davis. You've obviously faced him a lot.
Well, that's awesome to have older guys. I go back, and last year when certainly Josiah and Santi were going through the process and wanting to know what they might end up doing, wondering what they might end up doing, I thought about the young guys and knowing that it would be a major turnover with what we had lost, but with those guys coming back, it's really neat in practice watching them along with Josiah, Zakai, Santi, and Jemai Meshack coach those guys and really tell them, and you really think about it, these younger guys get a chance every day to practice against a team that pretty much went to the Sweet 16 last year. But it's neat watching them do it. So I think it's a huge advantage when you have older guys. And I would tell you that I hope that we always have older guys. We still believe in what we try to do with our player development, but getting old, staying old, I think is really important. And I think you look at our league this year, this is an old league, and it's an athletic league, and it's a skilled league now. I think it's the best basketball league in the country. And you mentioned Devo Davis. I mean, obviously a super basketball player, a guy that gets your attention real quick when you talk about it. But he, along with his teammates, when you get ready for this league, it's hard to focus on one guy on any team because the quality of talent has grown so much the past couple of years. And I do think it's going to be the most competitive year the SEC's had, certainly since I've been in it.
Good morning, Coach. AP Stedham, AP and Kelly, as we see at syndicated radio. Coach, what made you talk Sante into coming back, and where would you like to see him improve?
Well, again, talking to him, I mean, he has meant so much to our program, and he came in along with Josiah at a time when we were somewhat in a transition, and Lamonte Turner was a guy that was really our best player at the time, and he abruptly had to end the season with an injury, and Santi walked on campus thinking he was going to probably be redshirted. And he practiced 2 days, played against LSU. I think he hit 5 threes in that game. But he's totally transformed his body. He and Josiah went through a lot that first year there, which I think has helped them both grow tremendously as players and as people. But what Santi does, and every day, he's going to give you his best effort every day. He runs more than any player I've ever seen in a half court. We were talking about, getting down the floor quick, but he runs so much more in a half court than any player I've ever coached. And there's not one part of his game he hasn't tried to get better with. But what I would tell you, it's amazing to me where he started as a defensive player and where he is today. I mean, and he's going to take on any challenge. We're not afraid to switch with him at any position because he's going to fight and do what he needs to do. But he's at an elite condition. I mean, he's the one guy that I don't want him to have to play as many minutes as he played last year, but he's a guy that could play that and more if he had to. But hopefully these younger guys can figure it out so we can use that depth and rest him, and at least hopefully at the end of the year he'll have a lot more left than he had the last couple of years because he's had to play so much.
Ben Roberts, Lexington Herald Leader. Rick, you just said this is an old league. Your friend in Kentucky has 8 freshmen, quite a few 5-stars. Just what kind of challenges
How
do
many
you
of
think?
did he get some older guys in the portal?
He got 1. He has 2 upperclassmen total, 2 sophomores, 8 freshmen. Just kind of what kind of challenges in this kind of current landscape of college basketball do you think he might face there?
Well, it's tough. It really is when you're there. Like again, I've got a great coaching staff, but I've got 5 guys that know what we're trying to get done out there that can help do it. But if you don't have that, it does make it more difficult. The word that John probably doesn't like any other coach, is patience. But you have to be really patient when you're got that many young guys. I mean, it's really because you want to see them get better every day, and most young guys will have a good day, and maybe next day not so much. And if you tell them they've had a good day, you can almost bet it's not going to be as good the next day. And so he's got to balance a lot of different things anytime you're coaching young guys, but knowing that you've got to get them to do just a couple things well early and build on it, whereas with an older group, you can get a lot more done early in the year as compared to those younger guys. But we all would tell you that talent's a good thing to have, and he certainly has that. But he's a terrific coach, and our league's got terrific coaches. And I do know this, that in this league, every team where they start will be better at the end of the year because of the level of coaching in this league.
Hey, Coach. John Sartori, WVLT, Knoxville. I'm just wondering, as Tennessee fans, more in the loss of Bill Justice, just what he meant to the program and what he meant to you as someone who is, compared to him, relatively new to Rocky Top.
Well, I did get the fortune to meet Bill, and he loved Tennessee. He loved the volunteers, and he loved the basketball program. We all know that he was a great basketball player. And I'd gotten a text from Burt Bortlekamp a couple weeks ago, and Mark Griffin telling me that he wasn't doing well. And I did reach out to him and try to get him, but I couldn't. I left him a message, and it's just sad because we lost a great one, but a great human being, but we also lost a great volunteer.
Shumpert, Rocky Top Insider. Just what have been the challenges for Tobe learning to play to 5 defensively, and how has he kind of grown over this offseason?
Well, I thought this summer experience with USA Basketball was really good for him. I thought that helped him confident-wise in a lot of different areas. And Tobe only knows one way to play, and he's going to go all out. But learning the different coverages, he is continuing to do that. Our ball screen packages the different things that we do. But again, he's a player that we're not afraid to switch with. He's quick, he's agile, he has great mobility, and he's going to play hard. And the guys would tell you they love him. They would tell you they don't particularly want to go against him in practice because he sets screens, and probably 3/4 of them are illegal. But he hits, and sometimes he does it not even knowing he's doing it. But he's going to be a big part. Jonas, and J.P. Estrella, those guys are going to be really important to us and up on that front line. But I tell you, everybody on our team would tell you we're glad that Tobe's wearing the orange and white because he's a guy that just goes at it every day.
Hey Rick, Jared Redding, Inside the Rebels and 24/7 Sports. Obviously, being a former Texas coach and having another former Texas coach come in, Chris Beard. Just what's your familiarity with Chris, and ultimately what does he bring to the SEC?
Well, when Chris was with Coach Knight at Tech, really we were close. Texas and Texas Tech staffs were really close with each other, and Chris obviously went to Texas and did just an unbelievable job at Texas Tech, and did a great job at Texas. He was building that program and putting his footprint there and wanting it to get done. And he will do an outstanding. I don't care where he's coaching. He's going to do an outstanding job. And he's got a great staff. He's done what I think coaches have been around. They know how to put a staff together quickly. And I know they did a really good job in the portal. I think they're ready, waiting to see if they got a couple more guys they can get eligible. But Chris is going to do a great job.
Kyle Tucker with The Athletic. When you talk about, you know, the importance of getting old and staying old now, and with the transfer portal, how much more attention must the staff pay over the course of a year, all year long, to player retention? And what do you and what do your staff do now, maybe more to be more attentive to that over the year?
Well, I think now when you recruit young guys, I think you almost have to look at it through a 2-year window, that if they're not playing for you by their sophomore year, they're probably thinking about maybe I should go somewhere else. As much as you hate to see that happen, I mean, you know, we sometimes lose a guy that we don't want to lose, knowing that they're going to have a chance at their 3rd and 4th year to be a major impact in the program. But with that said, yeah, we have to keep up with what's going on. Our staff does. We have to do it now. You know, you used to worry about the opponent you're playing, but with the portal being what it is and knowing that now has shrunk, and if you're in postseason playing, you're going to have to be organized, knowing that while you're playing games, you're going to have to be aware of the portal, trying to get started there. And, you know, we've had some grad transfers last year, and we were really excited about the guys we got out of the portal this past year, and they're going to be impact players. They're going to help us a lot. And but from a coach and staff standpoint, from the time the season starts, we have to keep our eye on all that and work at it, knowing that if at the end of the year we need to, you know, add to our roster, we've got to be ready to go do that.
Rick, what was your big takeaway last year from the deep runs that San Diego State and FAU made?
Well, it's what I've said forever. I think there's enough players in the country for everybody. I think you've got to find the ones that fit your system and you know, and buy into what you're trying to coach. I mean, through the years, we've all seen a lot of different things happen in the NCAA tournament, seed's important, all those type things. Like, I'll be quite honest, I thought when we got our draw, I thought it was a good draw for us. The 2 teams I thought we would have a difficult time with if we ended up facing them would be Florida Atlantic, and then Memphis and Fairleigh Dixon without Zakai, because we knew their style of play would be you know, aggressive and putting a lot of pressure on the guards to do it. I think we're more suited to play any style this year than we've probably been to play in a long time with different guys out there. But with that said, you know, you get in a tournament, the seedings matter, and we all know you got to catch some luck here or there. But I just think there's so much parity. I think the portal is going to do that now too. I think you're going to see guys that you can never take getting to the tournament for granted. You got to get there, and when you get there, I think we've all seen enough to know that, hey, if you get going, that anything can happen, and I think you'll could see more of that. But it's just the transfer portal is going to make a difference. It is, in terms of what might happen in postseason. But if you can play this game, you can play it. And there's a lot of players out there that go unnoticed but can really play. All you got to do is look at NBA rosters. There's a lot of guys up there that people haven't heard about that can play, and I think it's going to show up more in the years to come because of where we are with our game right now.
John Zeno with Associated Press. You already talked about the luxury of having veteran guys at your program, but when you look around the league, you got a lot of other top teams, Arkansas, Alabama, Kentucky. I mean, they're blending in so many different players from different places. How much does that change the landscape as you look at trying to project the league November, December, because you don't know who's going to mesh and who's not?
Well, again, I think that you go back, like we've always felt that it benefits us by playing a hard non-league schedule. We believe that, and because you get ready for conference play, and once you get there, now we all know each other, obviously, because we play against each other, and tendencies are pretty much in place by then. But the fact is, I've said, from a non-league standpoint, winning 20 games doesn't matter. That's not going to get you into maybe the postseason tournament anymore. The strength of schedule, who you play, how you develop is what's going to happen. And when you get into conference play, there's not a coach in this league or any league in the country that will look, I don't care who they're playing, I don't care if they're playing a team that's won 3 games, in their building, I don't think there's a coach that thinks they're going to go in there and it's going to be easy. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. But the way this league has grown over the last couple of years and the depth in it, it's going to be a dogfight. It is. And then obviously injuries, players staying healthy, all that comes into play. But it will be. And then I'm hoping that what we go through in the non-league, somebody was asking me about being ranked within the first week of the season. You go to Maui, which is in Honolulu now. I mean, you could come out of there. I mean, really good teams could come out of there with 2 losses, and or more. It's just tough. But we want to be in those situations, thinking the long term it helps us get better. Players want to play those schedules. I can tell you that. I mean, my guys tell me that all the time. They want to go in and play as many big games as they can play. They would probably tell you they're not great fans of bye games, but we know we have to do that too. And even those bye games now, I mean, those guys can play because what we're talking about with the portal, we'll play some teams this year that will have a whole new roster that we don't even know about. And so every game's important, and you hear that, but it really is. You can't afford to stump your toe at any point in time because you get in March and you're on that bubble for some reason or wherever you are. Anything you do in November can come back and cost you, and you just can't let that happen. You got to be ready from the get-go.
Well, hi, Coach. Johnny Thornton from Game Day Weekly. Your reaction coming into today when you learned that the media has picked volunteers to win the SEC?
I don't know if I had much of a reaction, to be quite honest. I mean, I think it's a compliment. Obviously, certainly it's a compliment to our players, our program. But it's fun. I think it's a fun time of year. Yesterday I had 3 or 4 people around Knoxville come up and congratulate me, and I said, "What do you?" I honestly didn't know what they were talking about until somebody told me. And I think those polls are obviously for the media and the fan bases to do that. But you got to go win games. And again, you embrace it. I mean, I hope we're that good. I really do. I really do hope we're that good and better. But we'll always be more concerned with what we do day to day in practice, getting ready for each game. And like I said, I tell our guys, once we walk on the floor and once we start playing our first game, every game is an NCAA tournament game if you want to get there. And whether you're picked to win it, I guess when you're picked to win a league or you're ranked, if you got a ranking, you got a big bullseye on your back, and you've got to embrace that and know that if you really embrace it, you're going to get better every night. And that's the key from now on. How much better can we get from now until the end of basketball season?
Last question.
James Fletcher from On3. You've talked a lot about getting old and staying old and the value of that. One of the ways that teams have done that is by taking mid-major stars and bringing them to the high major level. How has the need for those mid-major stars to translate to stars at the next level impacted the variance in results for certain teams throughout college basketball?
Well, first of all, when I said I want to get old, I want you to know we're really excited about our freshman class. We think that class is going to win a lot of games for us. We're really excited. And I think when you think about the portal, you go into it, obviously to address direct needs that you feel like you need to answer. I don't know if you can know that until you get there. I've said that about recruits, players. Until you live with someone every day and you're with them, you don't know exactly what you're going to get out of them. I can tell you of our 2 transfer guys, Dalton Connect and Jordan Gainey, we're excited. And do I think we helped ourselves by bringing those guys into our program? Absolutely, 100%. We felt improve our shooting. We needed to develop our skill. We need to improve guys that can create their own shots when it gets down to late clock. I think those guys have helped us do that. And the fact their experience, like going through this time of year right now, you can see where young guys struggle right now a little bit because we're really in the dog days right now, the really hardest time of the year practice-wise. And young guys started out, and they've done a great job, but you can tell in the last couple of days they've wavered a little bit, whereas those guys, they haven't missed a beat. They're continuing to climb with those older guys. So that's another, I think, byproduct of the portal, getting older guys. They've been through the grind of it. And most of those guys probably were high-level players. Like Jordan Gainey was led the nation in three-point shooting as a freshman, and last year had a big target on his back, so he knows what it's like to be guarded every night. Dalton connects, same situation. High-level scorer that team's game plan for, and I do think both of those guys being here, going against our team every day, 2 guys, 3 guys that can really defend has helped them, and they certainly know that there's a standard that we want to get them to from the defensive standpoint, that they've got to get there for us. And but I think with each guy that you bring in, really and truly, you're not sure totally until you get with them and get into the grind of this time of year and see how it's going to work out.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Coach.
thank you, guys.
Tennessee players will be up shortly.